only imagine what it would be like to see him face to face. Amen. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. As we continue our journey of stairway to heaven, I got a real difficult question to ask you. When you hear the word cursed, or something or someone being cursed, what do you think of? Matter of fact, let me just get some opinions from the peanut gallery. From the audience here. When you hear the word curse, tell me, what do you think of when you hear the word cursed? Curse? Yes, someone or something being cursed. Don't look at her. That's what you think of? She said it. That something bad is going to happen. All right. Yeah. When you hear the word curse, what do you think of?
That's something, I guess something that is evil upon someone that they have to accept. It's something that they can't do anything but accept that path that is not good for them.
Yeah, you see all them big words, accept that path, something that's not good for them. That's deep right there. That's deep right there. All right, let me go on this side over here. I might stop anywhere along the way. All right.
When I think of the word curse, I think of that's the end of the road. Bottom line, nothing good can come out of that.
Nothing good can come out of that. All right, let's go this way right here. I know. I saw you trying to look. I saw you trying to look me off. I trying to look like you looking at your wife and sound like Come. Is it Rocky? Yes. Okay, come on. Tell me what you think of.
I think they've already summed it up.
Okay.
The unforgettable.
The unforgettable. Okay, I like that. The unforgettable. All right. Y'all safe. I'm just going to take this back over here so that they can have it. All right. Well, that's where John is going to help us understand this idea of being cursed. So if you would open your Bibles to Revelation, the 22nd chapter, verses 3 through 5. And if you don't have the app, YouVersion, I would encourage that you would pull that down and put it on your phone. It's another great app that we suggest that you use here. And we're also going to be in the book of Genesis a little bit today in order for us to really have a good theological understanding when we hear this word cursed. All right? Let's see, what did I say? Revelation, the 22nd chapter. And we're going to look at verses 3 through 5. And I'm going to come from the NIV. And look how John starts this out now. This, in fact, just a little background. This is the final vision that John has gotten from the angel since he started in Revelation 1. And listen what he says. He says, there will no longer be any curse. And then it says, the throne of God and the Lamb will be in the city. His servants will serve him. They will see his face, and his name will be on their forehead. Isn't that what it says? And said, there will be no more night, right? Is that right? They will not have need for the light of a lamp or the light of the sun. For the Lord God will give them light. And here's the part, watch this. And they will reign forever and ever. Is that not what it says? All right, now I want to talk about God's greatest gifts to us. Notice I at first had gifts, but when I started looking at this passage, there really, I could break them down into multiple gifts. Now, that first phrase there will no longer be any curse. I want to look at the consecration of the new heaven and the new earth. Now, for those of you who have been coming out on Wednesdays and Sundays, I hope you continue to come. I know some of you are being challenged, and you know, when you start any new kind of study, it can be deep. It can seem like you're all over the place, but I encourage you to hang in there, and I promise you we're going to get you there, all right? Now, and I think they still have some of the books out there. You know, still giving the youth their books, and you can pick up. I'm gonna stop telling you not to buy it because you're still buying it. The big book, or at least they start with the little book for this kind of understanding. Now, this letter here, that, as I said, that John is writing, is really, as I said over and over, is not for the non-believers. It is for believers. It is to encourage us as we live our daily lives. And when he says there will be no more curse, how many of you ever seen pictures of famine or war-torn villages or hunger or drugs or drought? I mean, those are some devastating kinds of pictures, right? And you see it all over the news, do you not? Now, and how often do we hear people say, why does a good God let these things happen? Have you ever heard them say that? And sometimes when they come to us as Christians, we're like, I don't know. We don't even have an answer for them, do we? We don't most of the time. So here's what I want us to do now to help you a little bit. I want you to remember those pictures, but I want us to go to Genesis, the 3rd chapter. In fact, I really want us to go to chapter 1 first in Genesis, because in order to understand the curse, we have to understand the opposite first, all right? Genesis 1, I believe is verse 31. Genesis 1:31. And I believe it's there after God had created everything, and he saw that everything was good, right? That's right. Thank you. I'm glad somebody's reading their text. Yeah, it says he saw that everything was what? Very good. This was the highest of good that things could get, all right? Nothing could be any better than that, all right? So now, here's God. Now, he's created the heavens and the earth, all right? And now he says that everything that he has created is very good. And he only said that after he created humanity. And the unique thing about each of us is that we are made in God's image. Just look at your neighbor and say, I got a little God in me. How about that? Yeah, we're made in God's image. Now, with that understanding, God then, they give a fuller understanding of that 6th day when God made Adam. And on that 6th day, after he made Adam, he said that it was not good for man to be alone. And so he made him a helpmate. And then they went to the grocery store. That's what happened. Yeah. And guess what? They didn't have to have a debit card. They didn't have to have any money. They could just go shopping and get, wouldn't you just love to go to the store and everything you just pick up, you just put in the basket and take it home? Oh, when our baskets would just be overflowing. When you wouldn't be able to get out to the car. You'd be trying to get out there like this. And God said you can eat of every tree. Now look at this. I don't know how many trees there were, but if nature has anything to do with it, there are thousands of trees, the fruit-bearing trees that were in the garden. And God only said you can't eat from but one tree. Now this blows my mind because it still happens today, doesn't it? You can tell your children, you can play all the way over here, but don't go over there. Why they don't want me to go over there? Right? We think we're missing something, don't we? Yeah. Now, if you understand that God is God and that he knows everything, it would seem that if he told us not to do something, that we would realize that it's for our own good. You would think that, right? But now watch this now. So go on, let's see what I say, chapter 3 now. Go over to chapter 3. Most of you heard the story about they ate the fruit and the woman gave some to her husband and then he ate it and then they went from the grocery store to Macy's. Right? Picked up some grass skirts and tops. Right? No, they went to Walmart and got that. No? Okay. So they went clothes shopping, right? And then God was coming over for Sunday dinner, just like the preacher tries to now. Don't work. I know. Yeah. House all closed up. Yeah, lights out. But when God came over for dinner this day, it says that they were hiding. Now, the unique thing about this is they'd never hidden from God before. And when God says, where are you? It wasn't that God was asking because he didn't know. He was helping them to understand that something had changed in the relationship. Are y'all walking with me this far? I got to get you there, because for us to understand that there's no longer any curse, we have to understand what happened here. So when God asked them what happened, sister was in trouble because brother threw her up under the bus, did he not? He said, that woman you gave me. In fact, I was fine. You the one said I needed some help. Huh? I was watching the game, fell asleep, woke up. She was in the kitchen cooking. There she was. Then the woman blamed the serpent. Now, I think it's around verses. I got to get there because I don't want you to miss it. I don't have my glasses on, so I'm going to guess at it. I believe it's verses 14 through 17, I believe. Chapter 3. Is that where it starts? Yeah, I'm going from memory. Let me just see. Yeah, because you have done this thing. Oops, look what it says. What's that first word under there? Cursed are you above all the livestock. Now, drop down to verse 17. It said to Adam, he says, because you listened to your wife and ate from the tree. Now, stop right there, brothers. This isn't say don't listen to your wife. Yeah, because somebody said, the Bible says I ain't supposed to listen to you. So let me help you out right now. But look when you shouldn't listen to her. He says, and ate from the tree which I. So the only time you don't need to listen to her is when you know what God has told you to do. Well, yeah, I ain't getting about one clap on that. Brothers are scared to clap. Y'all won't even give me no help on that. They can say, see, now, brothers, now let me help you out. You better be sure God told you that. Because a lot of times we have to say, baby, is that what God said? That's how you know, right? Okay, all right. I'm just reading the text, y'all. Is it right there? Yeah, all right. So it says, curse is the ground. Now, so I asked you earlier, what does cursed mean? And you all gave me some great answers. But can I give you the simple answer? Curse is the opposite of being blessed. All right? Curse is the opposite of being blessed. Now, here's the thing. How did they understand what curse was? Because they understood what blessings were. In other words, God said, we had a great relationship. And anytime you augment the relationship with God on terms he didn't set up, you have moved from being blessed to being cursed. Oh, y'all didn't walk with me here. Yeah, do you understand what's happening here? So when we move outside of what God tells us, then we're putting ourselves in harm's way because we have altered our relationship with God. So can I help you just a little bit here? When we see all the bad things that are going on in the world today, it is not God's fault. Y'all didn't catch that. See, we always think we have to help God. No, God is saying it is our fault. And can I just talk plain? If God would remove his spirit from us right now, from the face of the earth would collapse immediately, because the Bible tells us that the enemy, the evil one, walks around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour and destroy. Don't you know every time that you have had just a good day and things have just gone well, it is because God has been with you all day long, all night long. He has protected you. He has kept you from the evil one. You should praise him all day long, because there were some things that happened on the way here that God just kept from happening to you. You don't even know the danger you were in. You don't even know harm was coming your way. God has kept you. He's kept you 24/7, 365. I don't care what little burdens you have. It's not as bad as if God would remove himself, because the enemy, he doesn't care anything about you. He would take you out at a moment's notice. So when we think of this word curse, I started trying to just internalize it just for myself personally, and then for us as well. When you think about Adam and Eve, and we might get to some of this in the Bible study. I got just so much popping here because I can't wait to Wednesday. But you remember a couple of weeks ago, I talked about when I get to the new heaven, I want my hair back. I'm just saying. Well, I realize I'm going to get it back because baldness is a part of the curse. Are y'all, that's right. How many got some aches and pains? Part of the curse. How many take some medicine? Part of the curse. How many wear eyeglasses? Part of the curse. You see, all of those things, God never intended for our bodies to ever go through any aging, any decay, any disease, any disaster. He never intended that. So any of those things that we are experiencing, every day we're experiencing some decay. Paul says it like this. He says that this earthly tabernacle is dissolving. I sometimes like, and I don't take Alka-Seltzer, but I like to just pop it in some water and just watch it start to dissolve. It helps me to understand just how quickly life comes and life goes. I mean, we can just fizzle out so quickly. But that's part of the curse. Now walk with me to the text. It says, turn back to Revelation 22, verse 3. He says, there will no longer, look at that. That ought to be something exciting for you. There will no longer be any curse. There will be no longer any disease, no longer there any death, no longer any aging. Everything that was working against you will be removed from you. All the things that hinder our relationship with God, every barrier, everything that keeps us from having that right relationship, God says, it will be removed. Now, he's already started. When did he do it? He did it on Calvary's cross. Jesus, when he said he paid it all, that was our sin debt. That was the price for the curse. That was the separation between you and God and me and God. And because now Jesus has paid it all, when we accept in Jesus' finished work, God says that we have now been redeemed, meaning that we've gone from the cursed side to the blessed side. That ought to be good news now. And so even right now, we're living in a blessed state. And y'all got to come out this afternoon because I'm going to show you how blessed we are and what God is doing. Even in the midst of this old corrupt world, God is still moving. God still has power. He's still on the throne. Let me slow down. And so what is our life advice here where it says there will no longer be any curse? That means there's nothing that will be dedicated to the devil there. Nothing that the evil one would want he can use against us will be there. There'll be nothing that will be able to take us out. Oh, y'all not feeling that. All the things that are working against your body right now, all of that's going to be removed. Like the song said, I can only imagine. I sat there and just tried to wrap my head around it. When you look at those pictures and you see all of the drought won't be there. When you see all the famine won't be there. See all the war-torn cities won't be there. See the genocide won't be there. See the anger and distress in marriages won't be there. Seeing the conflict and confusion in relationships won't be there. Seeing the jealousy and envy, it won't be there. It says no longer. All of that is just gone. Oh, I can only imagine. So what does removing that curse do? Well, you go back and just think. Now, you don't have to turn there. Remember in Genesis 3 when it says God came walking in the cool of the day. I never realized this until I started studying this, that God already knew. I know that he knew, but I wondered why the throne of God wasn't already on earth. Y'all didn't catch that. See, because look what the text says here next. It says, the throne of God and of the Lamb will be in the city. Is that not what it says? And in other words, there was a time there, right now, God's throne, physical throne, is not here on earth. Why? Because God and the curse can't coexist in the same place. And so during that time, God could come see Adam and Eve because at that time there was no curse. But he didn't move his throne there because God already knew that one day he was going to come visit and they were going to be hiding from him and he would have to move anyway. Oh, y'all see, y'all It's right there, right? And so now we're going to look at the citizens that are in the new heaven and the new earth. Look what it says. It says the throne of God, all right, and the Lamb. Now, notice there that the word throne is singular, but there are two people on it. God the Father and the Lamb. Now, at first I thought it was just some bad grammar, but when I went back and started looking at all the Greek words there, they're in the singular because it's saying, just like we said, that God is in three persons, all right? So again, this is another one of those clear passages that helps us understand that Jesus is God in the flesh. And so it says here that God the Father is really what it says, and Jesus Christ the Son, the Lamb, they're sitting on this throne, and that it's just one throne, which means it is just one government, which means that it is a perfect government, that there is a person who's sitting on the throne who has all power, who has all knowledge, who has all understanding, who can give out all the assignments, and there'll be no conflict nor confusion. Look what it says. It says, and his servants will serve him. Now that word serve in the Greek is the same word for worship. In other words, the work that we do for God is also worship. You know, some of us say, I'm going to worship. Well, guess what? If you're doing everything all day, every day for the Lord, you're worshiping 24/7. Even when you sleep at night, your mind should, as my grandma used to say, should be stayed on Jesus. What did she say? At night, she just want to be worshiping the Lord, even in her sleep. And so everything that you do, if you're taking out the trash, you're taking it out so that God can be glorified. If you're mowing the lawn, you can do it so that God can be glorified. He's saying here that everyone will be his servant. Now, the word his servant shows ownership, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more, but he's talking about these individuals will be his citizens, will be his servants. They will serve him. They will work for him. They will worship him. Let me just ask you, how many of you have a job you love, but people you hate on your job? Don't raise your hand. Because you know some of them may be watching. Yeah, just nod your head like this, like real short, like, yeah, you've heard of stuff like that, right? Wouldn't it just be great? Well, can I push the envelope? It can even happen in church. You can have things you love to do, and folks just make it hard. That they have policies and procedures and people and paper and all this kind of stuff that just gets in the way of you doing what you love to do. But guess what? There is coming a time where God is sitting on the throne, and he says his servants will serve him. In other words, God will be the one handing out the assignment. God would be the one who's giving you your marching orders. God would be the one who knows what you're talented and able to do. God would be giving you those things to do. But guess what? You don't need to wait till then. Some of you are waiting like, well, you know, you might not get no marching orders because you're not doing now. Some of you are very good at working your pew muscle. I don't think that's a requirement or a job opportunity in heaven. So, you know, we're always talking about kingdom opportunities, and we're going to give you some opportunities this month to sign up for some stuff, so because you need to get ready, unless you're not going. Well, that's a possibility. Yeah, it's a possibility. Turn to your neighbor and say, I think I'm going. Y'all didn't even say that with confidence. I think I'm. Y'all didn't even really say that like your man. Like, I think I'm going. But if you're going to be a citizen, now look at this. If you're going to be a citizen then, watch this, that means you got to be a citizen now. Have you not heard me talk about dual citizenship? How many of you got dual citizenship? Yeah, a few more now. Yeah, y'all got the answer to that one right now. Y'all like y'all always knew that, right? Yeah. See, so that means you need to start operating in your giftedness. Now, how many of you know that there are going to be rewards when you get to heaven? Just a few of you, so let me help you out. There will be rewards for the work you have done. Key word, work you have done. If you have not done anything or not doing anything, there will not be a reward. You might just barely skate in. You might not. Say, I don't know. Turn to your neighbor and say, I don't know. Now you say that loud, I don't know. Are y'all walking with me here? So if you're a citizen, Now you'll be a citizen then. If you're serving then, you ought to be serving. All right, so stand up, Yulitha. Stand up, Tish. You in here, Yulitha, Tish, stand up, both of you. Y'all need to knock these women down before they leave so that they can find out what you're supposed to be doing for the kingdom. Is that not right? That they'll get you kingdom employed. There's no unemployment. Come on. There's no unemployment. Come on. In the kingdom. 100%. How many of you want some benefits? Some kingdom benefits. Then you better do some kingdom work, and you better start now. All right? And if you don't know what your kingdom qualifications are, we're going to be talking about this in a couple of weeks. I'm all the way ahead of myself. We got a sermon called Kingdom Qualified. How many of you know what you're qualified to do? Okay, see, some of you don't know. All right. Well, then guess what? Now, if you don't know, you won't hear well done. I'm just saying. Well, what did you do? Well, Lord, I didn't know what to do. Well, I tell you, the Lord gonna say, well, I know what to do. Elevator going down. Now, serious, you all. See, we get so caught up. Can I talk plain? That even those of us who serve sometimes serve half-heartedly. We arrive late. We complain. But we get up early and go to the job for the man. I don't know whoever he is. Yeah, you say, I got to go for the man. Got to get there for the man. Man got his foot on my neck. You don't even see his foot, but he got it. But guess what? Even that job that you go to, you're supposed to be doing it for the glory of God. See, most of you are on your job trying to please your boss, but if you're on your job pleasing God, don't you know whatever you need, God can take care of it? Stop working for the man and start serving the Lord in gladness, and everything that you do, God will work it out. He'll open doors that you can't even think about will be open. He'll move managers out of the way. He'll move supervisors out of the way. He'll promote you over some folk. Why? Because you're doing everything to the glory of God. We spend too much time in our worldly thinking that we forget about. Look what it says. It says the throne of God and the Lamb. It's not that this throne was just being made. It's already in the present heaven, but he's going to bring it down to the new heaven and the new earth, and it's going to reside right here. The same God that can send down messages then is the same God that can send down messages now. God can work in your favor just like he can up there. He can do it right here in the immediate. Now, some of you need to look at your job you got now and ask, does it glorify God? You might be making some good money, but are you working against the kingdom or for the kingdom? You see? You might need to turn in your resignation tomorrow. But, well, Pastor, how am I going to pay my mortgage? Well, you shouldn't have got it. Well, let me ask you this question, serious question. Would you rather be living in a nice, fine house serving the devil or homeless serving the Lord? Now, you ain't said that like you meant it. I know that's a hard question, but that's what you got to be able to risk it all. But can I talk plain? If you're doing it for God, it's no risk. Now, it may not look like you want it to look. Yeah, I'm telling you that right now. It may not come in the package you want it to come in. In fact, the package you got next to you may not even be the package you want. But if God gave it to you, it's the package for you. I better leave that one alone. I'm about to run out of time anyway. Let me just move. I wish I had more time. I got to finish. But is this helping anybody? And so the first blessing is, oh, wow, I haven't even gotten there. Woo. The first blessing is, I said one, that you'll be his servants, right? But here's the first blessing of the greatest of these blessings. He said that you'll get to see him, his face. Oh, y'all didn't catch that. You'll get to see God's face. Do you know that Moses tried to do it and couldn't? that he could only see God's backside. Now, there is a place in Exodus, I was reading this, that it actually said that they got to see God, and I got to do a little more digging on that, because most of the time it tells us that we can't because we're in our human flesh and we're sinful. And but Jesus told us, I think it's in Matthew 5:8, he said, only the pure in heart shall see God. Now, that means you had to be pure before you go. Just saying, just trying to help you out. So we have to look at some things. Are we living as pure a life as we can in a corrupt world? Now, it's not easy, but it's possible. Did you hear what I said? It's possible, because that's where it says you got to set your mind on things above and not on the things of the earth. Because we spend too much time consumed by pleasing our fleshly bodies, we miss out on some future benefits. I'm going to walk along. Now, that first blessing is that we are what? That we can see God face to face. I'm just going to shorten that up, that we're going to be in God's inner circle. Can you just, don't you like being in the inner circle? Come on, there's some benefits of being on the inside, isn't it? It's benefits of being close to the CEO or the manager or having favor. So when you can see God face to face, that means you can talk to him. You can ask him questions. He can give you orders. You can praise him. You can worship him. You can see him as he is. I can only imagine when I get to see him right there on the throne, that my eyes will get to meet his eyes, and I'll get to be able to get answers to every question that I ever had. I'll get to be able to say, God, why did you allow? And God will be able to pull back the veil and allow me to see the stuff that he kept from happening and the things that he spared me from and all that I should have been, that I shouldn't even be standing here right now. And I'll just say, Lord, I praise you right now that you didn't do to me what you could have done to me when you had me where you had me. Now, I can rejoice that I'm a citizen in the kingdom, that I'm not. Let me move on, because I know I got to hurry up. And so not only do you get to see him face to face, but then it says, and his name, watch this, will be on their forehead. Now, most of us understand about the mark of the beast. And the mark of the beast, you got that mark because you were needing products and services and goods and services. And, they're putting chips in y'all right now. Y'all. And they said, well, so you can get your medical records, we can scan you. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to happen. I really don't. But that mark of the beast is the same thing with God's name on your forehead. It shows who owns you and who's responsible for you. Are y'all walking with me here? And he's saying here now that your safety and security will be safe and secure. Everything you stand in need of will be taken care of because you'll be his servant. You got his name on your head. There'll be no accident that you belong to the child of the Most High God, that you're a child of the King. How many want to be a child of a king? Yes, indeed. We're a child of a king, not just of a king, but of the King of kings and the Lord of lords. He can call me by name. He knows every hair I don't have on my head. Isn't that just a good thing? That's the kind of relationship he's talking about, that this is personal. He's got his name on it. And you see, I'm going to have to help out just a little bit, brothers. Ladies, I know some of y'all got these hyphenated names. I'm going to just leave that right there. See me out. But that means something. See, you haven't understood the total picture when you take someone else's name, what that man is actually saying to you. And brothers, when you give it to her, what you're actually committing to. So when you keep half your name, sister, just in case. See, I can mess you up here. I'm just trying to see how many steps I got in. Now, where was I? Oh, that's your second blessing. The safety and security. Not just here, but eternally. Then let's walk through this last verse here. He says, there'll be no more night. they will not have a need for the light of a lamp or the light of the sun. For the Lord God will give them their light, and they will reign forever and ever. And I wonder why that was pushed all the way down to the end. And just for the little bit of time, I want to talk about God's constant glory, all right, that's in heaven and in earth. Look what he says now. He says there'll be no night. Do you know that there was another time when there was no night? When God first created everything. Do y'all not know that God created the trees and the fruit of the trees before he created the sun and the moon? Now, we think that the flowers need the sun to survive, but they only need it if God turned that responsibility over to them. In other words, God created light, and God is light. And Jesus says, I am the light of the world. This is the fulfillment of this prophecy where he told them that he is the light of the world. What it means when it says there's no more darkness, think about what we think about with darkness. With darkness comes evil. And so if there's no more evil, there's no more darkness. Also, the human body won't need rest because we'll be filled with the Holy Spirit day in and day out. And look, watch this now. You won't have any more utility bills. Look what it said, no need of lamps. That means whether it's a candle or power. I don't care if it's the city of Concord or Duke Power. I don't care who your electric company is. Guess what? You won't need Silver Shield, CPI, or even ADT. You won't need any kind of alarm system. When you go back and read that chapter, there'll be no evil that will be able to come up against you. You won't need any medicines. You can put all of them aside when you got God's constant glory. But look at your last blessing, and I'm going to stop. I'm not finished, but I'm going to stop. It says that they will reign forever and ever. That means you're going to be in a kingdom position there, that you're going to be able to rule with God. Now, you say, well, this sounds foreign. No, it doesn't. When you go back over to Genesis 1, I believe it's verses 26 through 28, when God made man and woman, he gave them dominion. Dominion is a kingdom term. This word reign is the same word in the Greek that it is in the Hebrew. In other words, what he is saying is that same thing God started back in the garden, God's going to finish. What's your bottom line? If you don't remember anything else, whatever God starts, he will finish. That's why he said that work that he's done in you, the good work, he's going to finish it in you. And God's going to finish the work in you. Well, how did he do it? Well, that's why Jesus said on the cross, it is finished, so that it can be finished. And because God did what he did in Jesus Christ, now he can do a good work in you. And he can do a good work in me. And when he does that good work in us, then we can do a good work in him. And so, as I said earlier, if you don't remember anything else, remember that if God started it, he's going to finish it. That's what Revelation 22 is all about. But there's a verse I didn't give you, but I want you to look at. It's verse number 6. I believe it says something about this being trustworthy and true. See that right there? He's saying that everything that he's written from Revelation 1:1 all the way through, you can take it to the bank. You can count on it. I know some of it doesn't make sense, and that's why I'm encouraging you to stay with us, because what God is saying here, Jesus is saying here, or through John, is that all of this will take place. In fact, this is one of your homework assignments. Take those 3 verses I just gave you, and I want you to go and underline everywhere you see the word will. And all of those are promises. He's talking about things that are going to happen. He didn't say they have happened. He says that these things will. Verse number 6, he says that is trustworthy and true. So, I'm saying another life advice, the redeemed will have job satisfaction and security. That everything you do, you'll be doing for the glory of God. And you won't ever have to worry about being unemployed or laid off. When you go back and you read about all the fruit trees, you might be a fruit picker. but you'll be doing it for the glory of God. They got streets paved with gold. I'm quite certain someone's got to polish those. See, some of the tasks that we think are not really looked upon as great can probably be some of those greatest things you'll get to do in the kingdom. Because some of us, the jobs we have, I've been wondering about mine. Because y'all have God to teach you. So I'm asking the Lord what I'm going to do. But you know, I trust him. Because he says in there that if I am faithful, if I'm faithful, he's just. And that's all I need to hang my hat on is his faithfulness and his being just. So those are some of the greatest gifts that God has for you. You get this, be in his inner circle. You get to have divine presence. You get to have job satisfaction and job security. Aren't those all the things we strive for day in and day out? Why not rest in it now? Commit living your life for the next life. Look at all the things that are hindering you from being all that God has called you to be. Oh, I made excuses. Lord, how am I going to send my children to school? Or how am I going to pay for this mortgage? Or all the excuses that I could look at were worldly. But when I made up my mind that this wasn't a risk, God has done exceedingly abundantly more than I could ever imagine or ask. I'm at so much peace. Isn't it just good to be at peace? If you've never had it, I pray that you get it. You need to release some stuff that you weren't about here. And just come into his presence. Because you don't have to wait to get there. You can do it right now. So if you would, stand on your feet.